we're walking onto the court, and Dirk Nowitzki turns to us and says, "Congratulations,
Dirk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we didn't get married at the Mavs game.
Oh, 6'11"
We had
of
the
him.
second reception, if you will, at
nice.
the Mavs game.
Still,
This is
that's
the cool
even
kid
better.
table, right? He's like, "Oh." Typical, 14-year-old boy or
Right.
whatever. And I'm like, he goes, "I guess so." I was like, "Cool. Well, that's why I'm here. My name's Todd. I'm new. I'm one of the cool kids." But this sense of God saying to me, like, "Hey, dude, you've spent more time trying to make this decision with this laptop than you have in prayer with me."
Hey everybody, welcome back to My Dad's Story. Today's guest is someone you want to be friends with in about 5 minutes after meeting him. Todd has spent 20 years in the restaurant business, played in a band, collected vinyl, tricked his way into working security at a rock concert we have to hear about, and somehow still found time to marry his wife at a Dallas Mavericks game. Today he serves as executive pastor of Multisite Ministries, say that 3 times real fast, at Chase Oaks Church, a role shaped by leadership, music, people, faith, and a sabbatical that reveals something about himself that was both cool and kind of scary. Todd's story is fun, honest, meaningful, and full of reminders that God uses every chapter, even the loud ones, to shape who we become. Thanks, Todd, so much for being here.
Wow. How did you come up with stuff to make me sound semi-cool?
I
Wow.
know. Well, it's one of those games, you take this. And
Yeah,
move it
that's
up.
some serious creativity there.
Yeah,
Well
I like
done.
it. Okay,
Yeah,
so
all right.
when I first met you a long time ago, you were described as a party in a box. And that's what people said to you. Is that a fair assessment or an understatement?
I like to have a good time, and I like to make sure the people around me are having a good time for sure. Yeah, there's high value in that. Yeah, you're a lot like that too.
I'm an organizer. You're more like the party in a box kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So for people meeting you for the first time, though, how would you describe Todd in one sentence then?
Just a guy trying to make a difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
What else you got?
I don't know, man.
I understand.
Yeah, I don't know. Todd in one sentence. Yeah, a flawed human being
Okay.
who's made a lot of mistakes and been given more opportunities than he deserves, and is constantly turned to a point in his life where he's trying to steward those opportunities well.
I like that. That was really good. When you put some thought into it, that was nice. I appreciate that one. Okay, so you were born in Oklahoma, then you moved to Texas.
I did.
Right away.
At
Which
2
one
years
really
old.
claims you? At 2 years old. Well, then, why would Oklahoma claim you?
I mean, I still bleed crimson and cream when we're talking football,
Right.
and I still have tons of family out in Oklahoma. I was just up there for a wedding.
Okay.
So, but I'm a Texan. You
Right.
know. I have dual citizenship. Let's say that. Dual citizenship. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, whereabouts in Oklahoma were you born then?
Weatherford, Oklahoma.
Okay,
There's a college there.
Yeah, Southwestern State University?
Something like that. Yeah, sounds right. Yeah, my dad was going to school at the
Yeah.
time, and yeah.
And how did you meet your mom then?
They went to high school together. So Lawton High School, Lawton,
Okay,
Oklahoma. And so, I think their first date was like the football championship game or something like that was their story. And
There we go.
And then, hey, you got to live happily ever after.
Yeah,
that, I
you
think.
did. So, what did your dad do?
So my dad ran pharmacies forever. So he went to school to be a pharmacist and ran hospital pharmacies, and then worked his way up. And my dad's just a great leader.
Yeah.
And just a guy who, when I think about generational change,
Right.
and I look at our family tree and lineage, he really set the tone and shifted some things in a really powerful way. Not only, the kind of guy that is successful in business, which he was, and leadership and all of those sort of things, but I believe he's also probably the first dad in his line to say "I love you" to his kids on a regular basis.
Yeah, that was the thing, wasn't it?
Pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah. How much older is your dad than you are?
I'm a terrible human being. I couldn't tell you exactly. I don't know. Probably 22 years old, I think.
Yeah,
I think he was
something
like
like
22.
that. Yeah. So he's not like ancient.
He was young.
Were you the first one, or do you
Yeah,
have
I'm
brothers,
the first.
sisters?
I'm the firstborn of many, like all grandchildren, all whatever.
Okay.
I was the first on both sides,
Yeah.
so a lot of that firstborn
Right.
energy. Yeah, maybe that's the party in the box part of you got all the cousins around, and
Right.
it's like you got to do something.
Gotta
silly and
organize
fun,
it
and
somehow.
I don't know about organize, but make sure it's fun or it's chaos. One of the two.
All right. So now you're in Texas.
Yes.
And did your dad transfer to Texas? Is that how come you moved
Yeah,
down
he
to
had an
Texas?
opportunity,
Okay.
to
Okay.
work in a hospital pharmacy.
So where'd you
down
go to high school at?
Most of my school age stuff was in Rockwall.
Okay.
So I graduated from there, but I do have 2 years in Southern California mixed in there. So 8th and 9th grade. Yeah, you know that.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's
so,
interesting.
Before 7th grade, my dad got promoted to VP of some big, huge, hospital pharmacy
Right.
management company or whatever. Because he's great at what he did.
Yeah.
And I'd always dreamed of living in California. I just always thought it'd be super cool.
Yeah.
And this would be a fun story. So
All right.
we moved to California, and so Rockwall, 6th, 7th grade, coming up through all that. I'm ADD, dyslexic. I was on Ritalin. And Rockwall, for me, my experience in this time in the 80s was pretty cliquey. Mm-hmm. And I would say that I never really totally fit in with any one group, any
Right.
one clique. I wasn't smart enough to hang out with the nerds. I didn't have enough money to hang out with the preppy guys. I didn't want to do drugs, so couldn't hang out with the druggies. And
what's
rednecks
left?
scared the heck out of me.
Of course. They
So, I didn't really have my group.
Yeah.
And moved to California. I was like, okay, I'm going to put myself out there. So I was kind of shy and in a box a little bit up until this point. And
Right. 7th
so
grade?
now it's 8th grade.
Okay.
I'm rolling into 8th grade. No one knows me. I'm in a new school.
Yeah.
And all summer long, I said, I am going to sit at the cool kid table on the first day of school. Like, that's line in the sand. That's what's going to happen.
Right.
And I don't know if I get beat up or what, but I'm just going to try it. I'm going to put myself out there and see what happens. Because I'd spent all these years kind of in the corner, in the shadows a little bit. And anyways, I psyched myself up. First day of school, I show up. And 8th grade, it doesn't take long to recognize who the cool kids are, right?
Right.
There's some distinctions there. Like, that's all I'm paying attention to. Like, I'm not worried about my classes. And so I get into the lunch space, and out there, California's so cool. It's patios. It's covered picnic tables, like outdoors, our cafeteria kind of
Right.
a thing. And I get my food, and I sit next to Craig Hastings, the biggest, baddest, coolest dude in school.
Craig Hastings?
Just sat right next to him. I know. Do you know Craig? You don't know Craig.
Yeah.
Anyways, I sit next to him, and he goes, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "Okay, I've prepared for this. I've thought through everything in my mind for like a month and a half, every scenario, what could have happened." And I said, "Well, this is the cool kid table, right?" He's like, "Oh." Typical, 14-year-old boy or
Right.
whatever. And I'm like, he goes, "I guess so." I was like, "Cool. Well, that's why I'm here. My name's Todd. I'm new. I'm one of the cool kids." And he goes, "Oh, all right, whatever." And like, what's he gonna do, right?
Right.
And so then somebody else comes and sits down at the table, and they're like, "Hey, Craig, who's that guy?" And he's like, "That's Todd. I guess he's one of the cool kids now." And I was in.
Yeah.
I was in. And
20 minutes.
Yeah, like just like that.
Nice.
And so that was the California experience. I had lunch at the cool kid table every day and hung with that group. So,
Look at you.
yeah.
And then you moved back to Texas.
Moved back to the same school.
And were you cool then?
No,
Because you
I-
grew up, or did you revert back to like, oh, I'll just be in my little corner?
It was worse.
Ooh.
Honestly, it was worse than revert back to the corner because I was bitter. I was angry.
Because you moved back?
Because I moved back.
Because you really like
here.
California.
I loved it out there.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want to be an adult in California,
Right,
but being a
right.
teenager in Southern California is pretty awesome.
Right.
And so, yeah, when I moved back, I was angry. I was frustrated. Just basically had a big pity party. And now, if I were to see 15-year-old Todd, like, moping around and all pissed off, I'd probably slap him in the face. Like, get over it, dude. You've got all these opportunities
Right.
and this incredible family and all this stuff, but I just couldn't see it. And so
Nice.
I didn't get back out of my shell until I got my first job.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll head there in a second. But
want, okay.
who influenced your personality the most when you were growing up then?
I don't know. I'm still waiting to figure out what my personality is.
Does it change often?
I don't know. That's a fun argument there on the debate on introvert extrovert with my wife. I typically have, but yeah, I don't.
So you were introvert.
Maybe TV.
You were introvert early. California, a little bit more extroverted. Came back to Texas, went back into introverted until you started working.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, yeah. I mean, the way I would describe it, I don't know. I'm still working through this. I'm a headspace, man. Is this a counseling session?
Yes,
This would be good. We'll work through this.
Yeah. Let's just lay down.
But, you know, what I like to say is I'm an introvert who loves people.
Right.
So I'm naturally pretty shy.
Right.
I really am. But through all that back and forth, I realized that shyness kept me from people. And I loved people.
Right.
And so I just had to figure out a way to get over that. And so anything you see now where it's like, dude, that guy's nuts and he'll just jump into whatever situation or whatever. It's not that that's 100% what I want to do. It's that I just want the engagement around the people that I would be around.
Do you find yourself forcing yourself to do that because you know it'll be good once you do it? Or do you find yourself going, I have to do this?
I don't know. I think it's kind of like that beautiful golf swing I saw you just do. I said, you do it and you have fun with it and you see good things happen and it just starts to become natural. And so like, you know, for me, I'm pretty comfortable in my own skin now.
Right. Nice. All right. So you spent 20 years in the restaurant industry. Am I correct?
Yeah.
All right. What drew you into that world?
I was working at Kroger before that, making, you know, barely minimum wage. And I loved interacting with the people. And I actually found like a little grocery cart guy pushing stuff out and people were tipping me. And like, who tips a grocery cart guy? But I found if I'm fun and funny, they start tipping you. And I'm like, this could really work in a job where people are supposed to tip you, like you're working in a restaurant as a server or whatever. And, you know, just a 17, 18-year-old kid just trying to figure out how to pay bills so I can get bigger speakers for my car or whatever, do something dumb. And
So what was your first job in the restaurant industry then?
Well, my first job was a train wreck. My first job was as a busboy. I got hired at this little Italian seafood place, and it was only like one busboy size restaurant. And so the same day they interview me, he says, when can you start? And I'm like, I'm ready to go right now. He's like, great. Here's the job. You take the dishes off the table, you put them into the dishwasher station, and at the end of the night, you take out the trash. Cool? I'm like, got you. And so I start doing the job. Like, same day I'm interviewed. That was my training. And I start doing the job, and I'm working, I'm running them. And I'm having fun, and people are tipping me as a busboy directly. Like, hey, you're doing a great job. You're so whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. About 2 weeks into it, like my feet are on fire. But about 2 weeks into it, a new guy shows up, and the boss says, hey, this is so-and-so. He's new. He's going to be a busboy also. Why don't you show him around a little bit? And me, my dumb 17, 18-year-old self, I'm like, all right, bro, here's what you do. Like, you take the dishes off the table and you put them in the dish pit. And at the end of the night, you take out the trash. And he's looking at me like, this is a guy like you could tell had been in restaurants for a long time.
Right.
And he looked at me like, okay, kid, that's cute, you know?
Yeah.
And so we start working. And the next thing I know, like he's doing 3 tables before I can get 1 table clean. And I'm like, what's happening? And I look, and he's got this weird device. It's this rectangular shaped plastic container.
What is this?
Restaurant insiders would call it a bus tub.
What?
I had no idea what this device was. 2 weeks I worked at this job, just grabbing the plates, literally what I was told to do, and take them to the kitchen. So I'm making a million trips, and this guy shoop, shoop, shoop. And then the next day I show up, boss is like, hey, Todd, this place is only big enough for 1 busboy, and so-and-so's a lot faster than you are.
It's like Dodge City.
So I'm going to have to let you go.
Oh.
Yeah.
And how'd that make you feel?
The only job I've ever been fired from.
And how'd that make you feel?
Okay, so this is how dumb I was. I always knew that when you leave a job, I was always told when you leave a job, you know, put in your notice, work that notice out, leave on good terms, all those sort of things, right? And so in my dumb 17, 18-year-old head, I figured, well, if I'm supposed to put in a notice when I'm leaving a job, surely I would be getting some sort of notice when I'm no longer going to have said job.
It's a two-way street.
So my exact response was, so how long of a notice do I get? When is my last day gonna be? Like, and he looked at me like, this is your notice. You can fill up a soda on the way out, say
Whoa.
goodbye to everybody. Yes.
Retirement benefits right there. Fill up a soda.
Yeah. And the funny thing is the restaurant that I ended up actually figuring out restaurant stuff at, that same guy also owned. It was his steakhouse next door.
Oh.
He didn't hire me. He didn't know I was hired. So somebody else hired me. And the next thing you know, so it's 6 months later, maybe 9 months later, he turns around the corner and goes, Todd, is that you? I'm like, hey, boss, I work for your steakhouse now. How's it going?
Whoa.
Yeah. So there you go. The importance of training.
Definitely.
The importance of training.
Definitely.
I didn't know what a bus tub was.
So restaurant, and I know this, business is very intense business, would you say?
Oh, yeah. I think there's very few careers. I mean, most jobs are either really mentally tasking or really physically tasking. And I think the restaurant world is both, for sure.
It teaches you a lot about people, pressure, and leadership.
That's good.
And, well,
You've thought about this.
I wrote it down.
Yeah, I like it.
How hard is that?
Yeah.
I could just read. So which one of those do you think is the most important of the three?
People, pressure, and leadership? Mm-hmm. I look at people and leadership as the same.
Okay, how so?
I really do. Well, because a great leader is focused on their people. They're taking care of their people. They know how to take care of their people. So
Okay.
for me, that was the most important part of the restaurant world was, once worked my way up, figured out a bunch of stuff from dumb 17, 18-year-old Todd and moved into management, did other things, and actually was able to be a part of helping people, develop whatever skills they need to develop to get where they need to get. In the restaurant business, you've got like one half of your restaurant is pretty new to our country, the back of the house.
Right.
And, they're trying to figure out like how to survive in America kind of thing. They're first or second generation, most
Right.
of them. And then the other half is a bunch of 18 to 24-year-olds, that are trying to figure out life.
Right.
Very few of them got it all figured out at that point. And so to help those two different demographics of people move further along
Right.
in their goals and achieve cool things it's awesome. So people and leadership, I think, are kind of the same.
Okay. So how long did it take you to get into management position then?
Yeah, so it wasn't my goal. I wasn't
Right.
trying,
Right.
So I waited tables and bartended till 99, till 99. So that was probably 4 or 5 years, maybe 5, 6 years of waiting tables and bartending, working my way through school. And I was going to school for radio, television, film, and I did a little bit of radio, and I did not like it at all.
Okay.
And I felt like I could be myself in the restaurant world.
Right.
And it just, it had the energy, the instant gratification of when you're doing a good job and when you're not, the interaction with the people that I wanted to be able to have.
Right.
And
Did you make good tips?
yeah, I made great money.
There we go.
I made great money. So, but I realized that if I didn't make a change, as I was 24 at the time, I realized if I didn't make a change, I was going to be a 30-year-old waiter bartender if I at the rate that I was going. And nothing against that if that's what you watching
Right.
this want to do or whatever, but for me that isn't what I wanted to do.
Right.
I knew I wanted to be a great husband and father and all that, and bartending and waiting tables is not the most conducive way to do that. Running restaurants isn't easy doing it either.
Right. Oh yeah.
But it's a little bit more stable.
And a lot of night stuff too, I'd imagine. 'Cause
Yeah,
most
for sure.
restaurants it's a night work.
Yeah. Yeah. So I took a huge pay cut. I was making more money as a waiter than I was as a manager. I took a
my growth.
huge pay cut to start managing at 24 years old. Yeah. $28,000 a year was what
At a steakhouse?
at a steakhouse.
Okay.
Yeah. It was my first salary.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I
And-
knew if I worked hard, I worked my way up, I'd be able to provide a life.
Right. What was something that taught you about being a manager then?
What was what?
What was something, sorry, my Oklahoma. What was something that taught you about being a manager that you learned as a manager that stayed with you for the rest of your life?
Oh my gosh. Half of all the leadership stuff that I
Right.
have is from that. I had the opportunity to have some incredible bosses, some incredible coworkers. And, the way I always look at all that stuff is it's like this, whenever you're working with good people, even when you have working with bad people, but when you're working with really good people, it's like this buffet of leadership. If we're talking leadership, that you get to choose. You can say, hey, I see the way that guy handles this situation.
Right.
I want to put that in my pocket. And I'm going to pull him aside later and ask him how he gained that skill. Ask him how he learned how to do that, how to lead that meeting that way, or how to handle that situation that way, or run the budget this way, or whatever that was. And so I had some incredible mentors, one of which ended up being the best man at my wedding.
Nice.
And so, but a ton of great lessons. I got a goofy one for you. You want a goofy one?
Goof away.
What's the language rules here for this podcast? Are there any rules? Is FCC going to shut us down or anything? No, we're okay. As long as it's like my grandchildren see this,
Yes,
it's okay.
they will.
Right. As long as I'm okay with it, you're okay.
As long as it's okay.
So this is the most odd rule, our leadership lesson. One of my mentors, Mike, said this. He said, "You can be an asshole, just be a consistent asshole."
Oh.
And it was this whole idea of like, hey, if you're gonna be real nitpicky about something,
right,
you better be nitpicky about it all the time. You can't pick and choose when you're going to decide to be all thrown off your game because something didn't go a certain way. You need to be consistent with it. So
nice. I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Did you find yourself still introverted as a now you're in a management position, or did you find yourself starting to loosen up a little bit more?
Yeah, introverted is not an option.
Yeah.
It's not an option. That's another thing. Leaders don't get sick. Leaders don't get tired. Was an important lesson I learned right away too.
Pretty much so,
right in management training.
Right.
Yeah.
So you had great employees, and one of your employees stuck out more than the rest of them.
Wow, man. I had so many good ones. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. One of my favorites is a guy named Matt.
Okay.
So Matt, when I first started working with him, he was a host at the front door, helping get people seated, and he's kind of in his little box and kind of shy, and at the front door, and so I kind of nicknamed him Doormat because his name's Matt. He's at the door.
Got it.
And it's great. But he had something. And he grew, and it was cool. And he got promoted to server, and when you're a server, you're on the floor. Mm-hmm. So then he became floor mat, which was really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a promotion there.
Right.
Continued to do a great job. Became bar mat. He worked in the bar.
Nice.
And then eventually worked into management and was one of my favorite managers that I ever worked with. So
And his name then would be
I don't know. I'm open for suggestions.
Manager Matt. I don't know.
Management. It doesn't flow as well.
It doesn't.
No,
the other ones were great.
Yeah, just awesome, Matt. But to see the way that he grew and developed and led was just really cool.
So 20 years. You worked your way up the ladder from manager probably of just one location, right?
Well, no, you start as like number 5 or 6 on at one store.
Right.
Like there's 6 managers running the thing,
Right.
and you're the low man on the totem pole kind of a thing.
Worst
So,
hours, right?
yeah.
And then you worked your way up to running the store.
Yeah, that's a GM. Yeah.
And then from there on, what happened?
From there on, it was. I did a few other things, but mostly just as a GM in the restaurant world. But from there on, at the same time as all that's happening, I'm a husband, I'm a father, getting plugged into a church.
Okay.
And
So
yeah.
at the restaurant, how did we meet the wife?
How do we meet the wife? We meet the wife because she waited tables at the store that I was managing.
Stop my growth.
You ever ask a married restaurant manager, you've run into one, just say, hey, what restaurant did you meet your wife at? And they're like, how did you know?
Yeah.
But I will say this for the record, nothing inappropriate happened. Nothing inappropriate happened while she was my server there. She tried really hard.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
She did, yeah.
Why wouldn't
consistently throwing herself at me.
Just amazing. Your
I was
strength.
able to, and I'm not joking, kids, this is true. I was able to, and so I got promoted to another location.
Okay.
And because there was great chemistry there. I thought she was incredible and beautiful, and she loved Jesus in a way that I hadn't seen in someone my age.
Right.
And it was really cool. But anyways, I got promoted to another store, and she's like, oh, well, we won't be in the same store anymore, so now we can hang out. And I'm like, yes, we can.
Oh, yeah.
And she goes, cool, I want you to go to church with me. And I'm like, that is not what I had in mind.
Right.
I hadn't been in church in probably a decade.
Right.
At that point. But we went, she's pretty. And I went to a church service with her, and That was great. But the thing was, do we have time for this story?
We have
You
all
want this
sorts of
story?
time.
It's
Yes.
okay?
Yeah.
All right. Because the grandchildren need to hear this part.
Of course
for sure.
they do.
So we go to this church service, and again, I hadn't been to church in a long time, and this church is real hip and cool, and lasers and smoke and all that, and young adults, bunch of 20-somethings, and my wife's, she gives me a hug, she's glad I'm there, whatever, but she's acting the same way around all the other guys that are there too. She's giving them hugs, being friendly. My wife's a social butterfly,
Right.
and so I'm like looking around, I'm like, well, she's not acting any more interested in me than anybody else around here. Maybe she didn't really like me. Like maybe she was just trying to get me to come to church or something.
Okay,
like that.
I got it.
And her church was not really my scene.
Right.
And so after the church service is great, hug goodbye or whatever, and I didn't call. I didn't follow up. I had a restaurant we were trying to open. That's what that promotion was. And so I didn't think she was that into me. I thought she was amazing.
Right.
I thought she was amazing, for the record. But dumb Todd thought she didn't like me. And so 2 weeks go by, maybe 3. We open up the other store. We run out of a certain kind of steak, and I need that kind of steak. And so I go back to the old store to borrow that cut of steak.
And who is there?
Get a case. This beautiful, sweet, Jesus-loving angel that I thought liked me, but she didn't really like me.
Right.
And I see her, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to say hi to this girl.
Why not?
Yeah. And so I'm like, hey, Crystal, how's it going? She goes, you never called, and snarls and stomps off. And she's gone. Just stomp. And I'm like, oh, Todd, you are so dumb. This beautiful, amazing girl did like you. This is how dumb boys are. We're just dumb creatures.
Yeah, we are.
So I get to my car, I pull out my phone. I'm like, I have to rectify this situation immediately. And I call her, and it goes straight to voicemail. She's working, whatever. And I leave a message. Hey, Crystal, it's Todd. It's great to see you. Love to hang out. Hope things go well. And I hang up. I'm like, that's not good enough. No, I mean, I cannot. I have to undo whatever the dumb I've done. And so I just tacked on a whole bunch of dumb. I left about 20 plus voicemails, right there. And then I started getting into character, silly, ridiculous ones, like a British, hello, this is Todd's cousin, letting you know he thinks you're great, or whatever. And so long story short, she got all the messages. She laughed her butt off, thought it was great. We went on a date. And talked about what we've been through, our dreams, our hopes, whatever, and this is what I'm into if you are, and it was great, and lived happily ever since.
The British accent did it.
I want to say it was a British accent.
Yes.
I don't remember. There was a lot of, the brain wasn't fully functioned,
No.
you know?
You were thinking about the restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So that leads me to you're dating. You decided that now you want to get married, and you have a marriage story for me where you got married at.
Okay, so this is where the little bio there was a little inaccurate.
Inaccurate.
A little inaccurate. So let's clarify it.
Happens
Set
all
the
the
record
time.
straight. Yeah.
Yes.
So I did not get married at a Mavericks game.
Okay.
What happened is I'm a huge Mavericks fan. I'm a huge fan of a lot of sports, but the Mavericks are probably my favorite team out of all sports.
Got it.
And when we started dating, she kind of was great with that. And so we would go to as many games as we could. And we always went to the season opener. There's something about the season opener. And at this time, the Mavs had never won anything. This is 2000, 2001, 2002. And so the season opener, there's this excitement. You're undefeated. Who knows what could happen? We got this new draft pick. We got this whatever, right? So we always went to season opener. We schedule our wedding. And then when the Mavericks schedule comes out or when we figure out, oh, no, we've scheduled our wedding on the Mavericks season opener. This isn't going to work.
No.
What are we going to do? And this is how incredible this woman is. So she comes up with a plan. She's like, well, I'm sure the venue would be fine if we moved it to a day wedding. And maybe we start our honeymoon off by going to the Mavs game after the ceremony. And I'm like, let's keep talking. Okay. And I think my dad was in the room. I don't remember how he came in on this, but my dad said something along the line, if you do that, I'll buy tickets for the wedding party to go to the game after the wedding. And we can all just kind of celebrate, a second reception or whatever you want to do.
Right.
So, and we had no real money for our wedding, but dad chimed in a pretty cool deal to get tickets for the wedding party to all go. So we got this plan. We're figuring it out. And so I emailed Mark Cuban. Back then, there was before Twitter, and the thing is Cuban would email you back. Like that was the rumor.
Mavericks.
Like if you just email Mark Cuban, he'll email you back. And I'm like, let me try it. And so I emailed Mark Cuban. I'm like, hey, Mark, planning on doing this. You got any ideas on how we can make this special for my wife that's willing to do this? And he emailed me back in like 15 minutes, or his admin did. I don't know, but from the email address. And the next thing I know, he's setting us up. He said, I'll have I would love to have the wedding pictures taken by the team photographer. Like you're bringing the whole wedding party out. Go and leave your suits and tux and all that on and your dress if you want, right? And I'll get you in early onto the court before the game while the team's warming up. And I'll have the team photographer take your wedding photos on the floor. Wow. And I'm like, oh, okay, deal, awesome. So we get there and we do all that. He gives us an autographed team ball. The Dallas Morning News interviewed us and did an article in the newspaper, so we still have the clips on it or whatever. And it was just really cool. It's cool to we're walking onto the court, and Dirk Nowitzki turns to us and says, "Congratulations,
Dirk."
Yeah. So we didn't get married at the Mavs game.
Oh, 6'11"
we had the second reception, if you will, at the Mavs game.
Still, that's even better.
It's so cool. Yeah, it was the best of all worlds. Yeah.
And Mark Cuban replied back. That's kind of cool.
Replied back. Yeah.
So you like sports?
Yes.
So outside of the Mavericks, what else?
What other sports?
Oh, what other fan teams?
The fan team rundown. So we can talk college sports. Born in Oklahoma, so bleed crimson and cream. Obviously, got to root for my Sooners.
Boomer.
So always rooted for them.
Right.
There is no more painful sports experience than losing the Texas OU game and walking out of that stadium in Fair Park. It is the most painful thing in the world. Also with college football, I'm an Aggie dad. And so I claim the Aggies as well.
Texas
so,
A&M.
We love watching the Aggies and rooting for them any way we can, and to a certain extent Baylor too, because my oldest is currently at Baylor.
Okay.
And so we root for them the best we can too on that.
So what was the experience like at A&M? I heard that's like a unbelievable fan experience.
A&M
their stadium is just crazy.
College Station's great. Yeah. And we had an RV during those years, so we would take the RV down and tailgate and have a blast. And I think our favorite memory, we were there when they beat Alabama at home, and that was a lot of fun. And but just tailgating out there. We're part of a small group that has a lot of Aggie parents, and so we would throw Aggie tailgate parties with a lot of folks from our small group, which was a lot of fun.
So you've been married 23 years now to a woman you say is better looking than you.
Much better looking than me.
I forgot the word much. You're right. You did throw that in there.
Yeah.
You're right.
And I'm not just married, I'm very married. That's a whole other story.
Very married.
Yes.
Much better. Got it now. What's the secret of making that work for 23 years?
Submit to one another out of reverence for Christ.
Okay.
That's the secret.
Right.
It is this idea that I'm going to make your thing more important than my thing.
Right.
Not because you deserve it, not because you've earned it, but because of what Jesus has done for me.
Right.
And so when two people do that, and we're not perfect at it, we have tough days here and there. But when the real heart of what you're trying to do as a team, as a couple, is to put the other person's best interest above your own, and both parties are doing that, it's pretty cool.
And I suppose then you guys never ever fight or argue, so that's probably,
it's pretty rare.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty rare.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. No, we don't. Okay, so here's a fun one. I came from a family like that. I never saw my parents raise their voice at each other. Never.
Wow.
And Crystal came from a family that there's 3 girls in the house, all daughters, and there's a lot of yelling happening all the time, kind of a thing. And early on in our relationship, she got mad about something, and she started to raise her voice, started to yell at me. And I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm mad, so I'm gonna yell and da da da. We're gonna work da da da. Whoa. I'm like, oh, this is not how we're going to do this. And she's like, what? And I'm like, no, okay. We're not going to, no, we're going to have a calm conversation. What? It didn't work. I was not getting through to her, explaining to her in her anger that that's not how we're going to do this, right? And finally, I'm like, okay, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go to the bar, and I'm going to get a beer. And when you're ready to have a conversation, like two mature adults that love each other, give me a call. And I walked out the door.
Yeah.
And like like steam busting out of her ears, kind of a thing. But I went to the bar, put my phone next there, ordered a beer. I'm like, okay, I mean, because I'm not going to be, that's not how I want to do our relationship. And this is super early on. And yeah, drank the first beer. She still hadn't called. Starting to get nervous. Ordered the second beer. About halfway through, she called.
Okay.
Went back in and worked it out.
Cool. I was going to say that maybe you went to a hotel room for 3 days, but
no, went back
worked
in.
out. Nice.
Back in and worked it out.
All right.
Yeah.
So how long were you guys married? What were you doing when you first got married? Were you in the restaurant business?
Yeah, I was running restaurants. Yeah.
And how long were you in that before you moved to your different occupation?
We started dating in 2000, so I think I started in the restaurant business in '94.
Okay.
So
okay.
I've been managing for probably 2 years at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, maybe a year and a half. Yeah.
All right. So you said music, and it clearly runs deep in you. Where did that love of music come from?
I think my dad. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's more. I mean, it's in my DNA, more than that. But my dad loved music, and I remember growing up and just listening to music in the house all the time. And like, there's certain albums that I identify as certain like times of the week or days or whatever. Like Simon and Garfunkel's "Bridge Over Troubled Water" reminds me of Sunday morning getting ready for church when I was a little kid. I guess that album was always playing or something. I don't know, but I felt like I could always talk about music with my dad. And he taught me a lot of great music. And then so all the classics for sure. And then I started to branch out and to listen to my own stuff when, hard rock and grunge and hip hop blew up, all those sort of things.
Right.
So, yeah.
And then you were in, if I remember correctly, you said a band in the 90s.
I was in a band in the 90s.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm listening. First of all, did you play an instrument or were you singing?
No, I had no talent.
Okay.
So I sang. So yeah.
For anybody that sings, that's not good, but okay.
Well, for me, that was the best. That was the closest I could get.
Yeah.
So yeah, I loved music, and I always wanted to like be able to make music, create music, and like I took guitar lessons. At one point I had like 2 guitars, a drum kit, a bass, and I couldn't play any of them. And I was going to school up at North Texas, and North Texas is like you throw a rock, you hit a musician. It's a great music school. There's musicians everywhere, and I realized pretty quickly it's a lot easier to like get guys that want to play guitar than learn how to play guitar.
Right.
So one thing led to another. Started a band, and we were like ups and downs here and there, but the guys were really good. The band would have done good if they'd had a better singer. That band would have had a chance. It really would have had a chance.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Any gigs, memorable ones?
Yeah, we recorded an album. We did some shows. I think the most memorable show we played. There's a thing called Fry Street Fair in Denton, and we played kind of like an off Fry Street Fair right next to it, kind of a thing. But it's tons of people. We had this stage. It was like this outdoor thing, and we had tiki torches out. And my whole thing is like, let's just have some chaos. Let's throw a good show. Let's have good fun. And at one point, I climb up on the roof of the house and I jump off the roof of the house into the crowd, and like they catch me just barely.
Oh wow!
They just barely caught me. Like it's a little terrifying. Like it's you hit the hands and it's like okay, then they get you back up. But I didn't die.
That's good.
But yeah, there was tiki torches, and some girl grabbed a tiki torch, started slamming it on things, and fires going everywhere. It was just chaos and fun. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So what kind of music was it?
I was like 90s. We wanted to be the next Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Guns N' Roses, all mixed.
Little grunge thing kind of going there.
Into one, yeah. But my favorite.
No hair band? No hair
What's
band?
that?
No, not a hair band kind of a group?
I had hair down to here.
I'm listening.
Yeah, I had hair down to here with like red streaks and blonde streaks and goatee and.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the whole thing.
Oh wow.
Sure.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah. But I wouldn't say we were a hair band. It was more grunge-ish.
Right.
Trying to be grunge. But I think go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I think my favorite music story, but if you're going to ask about a band question, I want to answer that. If you have
No, it's actually, I was going to ask about your worst gig, but I'd rather hear your story.
Okay. One of my favorite music stories ever was the snuck my way into working security. At a
I'm
concert.
listening, yeah.
Okay. So there was a band back in the day called Everclear.
Okay.
And they were really good. I really liked them. And they had a show down in Dallas, and it was before they were super big, but they were pretty big. It was just starting to blow up. And the show was sold out, but I'd heard on the radio, like, hey, there's going to have these tickets at the door. And so me and my buddy Phil, who'd played bass in the band off and on, what you got to understand about Phil, Phil was a large black man, like 6'6", 6'5",
Okay.
with pierced nipples, pigtails, and wore a kilt. Like, that's Phil, okay? So I roll into Deep Ellum with Phil to get these tickets. and sure enough, they're sold out. And so we're like, oh, no, this is awful. And we're walking back, what are we going to do? And the side door opens up and a kid like stumbles out of it. And we're like, hey, what's in that side door? And he's like, well, there's other doors, this guy who kicks us out. And I'm like, okay, Phil, you want to try this? And he's like, let's try it. So we go in the side doors, we walk in, we just walk through there. There's nooks doors, there's nobody there to kick us out. We walk all the way through backstage to where the roadies are loading up the gear and walk out. And we're just hanging out with the roadies for a little bit. Next thing you know, some dude comes up to us like, what are you guys doing back here? You're not supposed to be here. Where's your blah, 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 blah? And I was like this close to being like, dude, sorry, we were just wanting to hang out and just sneak around long enough for the show to start because we really wanted to see the show and couldn't get a ticket. Please don't kick us out. Like, I was this close to saying that.
Right.
Phil, mad genius, had been listening to the whole time of everything going on. He's like, oh, yeah, we're with Jimmy. We're with 462 Concerts. We're supposed to be working the door tonight. And the guy's like, you're with Jimmy? He's like, yeah. He's like, well, you need your pass. You can't be back here without your pass. This is ridiculous. Go see Steve at the bar and get your pass. Absolutely.
Oh, nice.
So we go, hey, Steve, we need our pass. We're with 462 Concerts. We're working the door or whatever. And so then the next thing you know, our job, once we get our pass and we're in, remember, we had no business being there. We did not belong there. Our job was now to keep other people from getting backstage. That was our job.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Don't do what I did. Make sure they don't do it. Nice. Yeah. That's a good one. Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
So you have a, is your dad still alive, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I relate very well to the son and the dad talking about music. It's our way of talking. But you have a good vinyl collection?
It's all right.
Okay.
It's all right. Yeah.
And what are some of your prized vinyl?
I'll tell you two favorites.
I'm listening.
One is the Beatles' White Album, original press.
Okay.
One of the greatest albums of all time,
time,
period.
right.
But then to have like the original press
Right.
of that is pretty cool.
That's pretty good.
And the other goes back to the band thing. So my son is an incredible gift giver. And back in the day when I was in a band, we cut an album, got signed. My son got a hold of the recordings of the album because he would listen to our CD, and he turned it into a vinyl record and gave it to me as a gift.
Now.
And so I have on my wall, like, my band's, like, vinyl. And it works. Like, it's an actual vinyl
Right.
from the album that we recorded. So.
And you have the picture on the album itself, too? I mean,
oh, yeah,
from
the album
picture from
cover.
the CD,
He got the same album
with the
cover from
hair
the
and
CD.
the
No, it
kilt.
wasn't us on the cover. No, it wasn't us on the cover.
No kilt going on there?
No.
Wow.
No.
All right. So you said you have a playlist for a lot of things. Like do you make playlists for things? Tell me
Yes.
about that. I like that. First of all, I love organization, and that's awesome. But tell me about that.
I think it's part of setting the scene.
Yeah.
Like whenever you're going to throw a party or have an event or have something going on, it's like, okay, excuse me.
It's all right.
Setting the tone. When people walk into environments, what do they see and smell and hear? And music it just sets this baseline for everything. And so, yeah, I love to just create a playlist for what it is. I have hundreds of playlists and they never go away. I save them I use YouTube Music, and it's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Were you one of those guys that made a cassette that was kind of like, here's a playlist for
I used to record songs off the radio,
Yeah.
and then they'd do them in order, and then I would play DJ and change the cassettes out and stuff. So,
Like that.
yeah,
That's pretty cool.
yeah.
All right. So you were in the restaurant business for 20 some odd years, and then you changed and you made a major shift into the ministry of all things. Tell me about that.
How much time we got left?
I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind breakfast tomorrow morning, but
Okay.
otherwise,
All right. Yeah. So again, I mentioned earlier in my story that I hadn't been in church for a decade before I met my wife, kind of deal. I was raised in the church, grew up in the church. I accepted Jesus as my Savior at 8 years old. Some people, like they say, well, I didn't know what I was doing when they're that young or whatever. And that may be true for them, but for me, I absolutely knew what I was doing. I absolutely knew what Jesus did. I remember the moment sitting on my Battlestar Galactica bed, reading the book of John and
right.
talking to my mom and asking questions and accepting Jesus as my Savior. And I had a good run till about 14 years old or so, and other things started to look more interesting. And the way I would say it is that I had faith, but it was a very weak faith. I believed, but I didn't do the work to understand why I believed what I believed.
Right.
And so with that, it came a weak faith. Drifted from that, and at 16 started bailing from the church completely, and kind of had what I would call the dark decade. It sounds like all fun and games when I tell stories about being in the band and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, I was pretty pretty unhappy guy.
Right.
I was hurting in a lot of ways, pretty self-destructive in a lot of ways. Anyways, get married, have kids, decide it's time to be grown-ups and find a church. And we found a church. It wasn't easy. We checked out a lot of churches. Church shopping is hard.
Oh, yeah.
It's so hard. It's so weird. And you drive home and there's a lot of churches where it's like you roll in. I think I was 27, 28 years old at the time. We go to church. It's like, oh, there's a bunch of young, cool people like us or whatever. And I see people that I can, hang out with and fellowship or whatever. But who am I going to learn from?
Right.
Like everybody looks like a bunch of dumb goobers like me here, right? And then I go to other churches and it's like, okay, I see people I can learn from, but who am I going to hang out with? This is nothing but a bunch of old dudes in this church, right? Now I'm one of the old dudes, but anyways, we found a church that had just some great generational diversity, all kinds of diversity, really. And the way I would say my relationship with God is, and my conversations with God is kind of like having your AirPods in your ear. And during that dark decade, I never took the AirPods out, but I certainly turned the volume down as low as I could.
I like that.
So anyways, start going back to church and slowly started to turn the volume back up on what God had to say in my life.
Nice.
And he started to show up and do some pretty cool things. So just grew in the church and started to serve. Once we're like, okay, this is where we want to be. We're gonna be in on this thing. We're gonna volunteer. We're gonna serve. We're gonna give. We're gonna do all those things. And started leading small groups here and there, and that was fun. It was great. And one thing led to another, and my wife's actually the first one that ever said it. We were on a mission trip, and a lot of times on mission trips they ask people to like talk or whatever at the end of the night on one of the nights, just do a quick little devo or whatever. And I practiced and I shared it with her, and I'm like, "What do you think?" And she's like, "I think you need to quit your job, quit your job being a restaurant manager, and go be a pastor." And I'm like, "You are nuts!"
Right.
But she was the first one to ever say something like that, and every time that idea popped into my head, because then that dream would pop into my head. And every time it did, man, I dug a 6-foot hole and buried it and lit it on fire. It's like, there is no way I would ever do that. It's like, I know God can use me, he can use everybody, but he can't use me like that.
Right.
And when most pastors were 22, 23 years old, they were in seminary.
Right.
When I was 22, 23 years old, I was throwing parties so awesome I needed a bouncer. Like, it was just it's a different scene, right? And anyways, one thing led to another, and one of the pastors invited my wife and I out for dinner, double date, and asked if I would interview for a pastor role on staff at the church that we were at.
Right.
I'm like, you guys are nuts. Like, there's no way but you're fun. I like y'all. I got to know you a little bit over the years, and interview process sounds like I get to know you better, so we can hang out.
Yeah.
I'll interview, but come on. And so it was about a 3-month interview process, and the whole time I'm like, this is fun, this is great, getting to know these guys. It's long, but okay. And at some point I'm like, hey, I'm just curious. I'm assuming, because in the restaurant business I was making good money.
Right.
I was good at it, and it paid well, provided well, all that. And I assumed I was gonna have to take a pay cut, or whoever took this job like that.
Right.
And I'm like, just curious, like, how big a pay cut are we talking? Like, what does this number look like? And one thing led to another. Figured out the number, and I looked at it a little bit, and I'm like, well, guys, this has been fun.
Yeah.
But there's just no way. And I get it. What are you gonna do? Negotiate salary with the church? No. All right. All right. This has been great, and don't worry about it. I know you guys are interviewing a lot of really great candidates. You're gonna find a great one, and all that. I know I'm the dark horse in this.
Right.
And they said in the interview, they go, you're not the dark horse, dude. You're the lead horse. We were about to tell you you're the guy we want. I'm like, that's when it got real.
Right.
That's when it got real.
Slapped you upside the head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then all those insecurities of feeling unworthy, like I had to wrestle with it. I had to get clear on.
Mm-hmm.
And then the money thing just was huge. And with the insecurities, I had a good friend of mine who was in a men's group with me. He was an accountability partner of mine. He knew me. He knew good, bad, and ugly.
Mm-hmm.
And he was actually in school, like, making the right choices to become a pastor. Mm-hmm. Went off and launched his own church. And I called him up, and I'm like, hey, man, they're talking about me being a pastor. Are they crazy? And I remember what he said to me. He said, first off, that church, he's like, I've been around churches enough to know that church knows what they're talking about.
Right.
And if they see this in you, they're probably right.
Right.
And the other thing he said was, those feelings of unworthiness, of insecurity that you have right now, at some point, I see those turning into a humble confidence. And it's going to be beautiful. And it was like, wow. And that was 11 years ago. I'm still trying to live into that, but I'm working on it. But then the big hurdle was the money.
Right.
So I come back to meet with the hiring team, and I'm like, guys, again, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can pull this off. I remember what they said. They said two things. They said, number one, this is your home church. If there's any part of you that feels like we would think less of you for not sacrificing the salary to take this job, you need to wipe that away. We love you, and we get it. You don't feel pressure
right
to make this choice.
That was nice. Yeah.
And the other thing is we get it's a big choice. Take as much time as you need to decide. Who does that? Nobody.
Right.
And I said, well, here's the thing. I can't take as much time as I want to decide because my wife is going crazy not knowing what we're doing. She'll follow me anywhere.
Right.
But she needs to know I have a plan. If I don't have a plan, she's not good.
Right.
And so I said, Monday morning, I'll make a decision on Monday. I had no idea what I was going to decide. And I wake up Monday morning, and I get wife off to work and the boys off to school. I was not working in the restaurant that day. And I open up my laptop because I'm working on the budget, and I'm working on the family budget. I don't know how to run budgets and spreadsheets and family, all that,
Right.
And I'm like, okay, how can we make this work? How can we make this, if I can just get these line items to work, I'll take this job. I'll do this.
Right.
And I'm cranking stuff. What if we cut cable? This cable, for those of you watching this in the future, was the way we used to get our television. It was really old-fashioned. But anyways, what if we move? What if we, do something different with our car? Well, all this stuff. And I'm working on a spreadsheet. I just can't make the numbers work. And I'm
Right.
frustrated. Can't make the numbers work. And I remember this sense, not like God's audible voice, but this sense of God saying to me, hey, dude, you've spent more time trying to make this decision with this laptop than you have in prayer with me.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh. See, I'm already a terrible pastor. This huge decision, and I'm not even
Right.
talking to God about it like I should be.
Right.
So I close the laptop, and I go out on the back patio and just being outside, something about being outside, I connect with God better.
Right.
And I just remember this sense of God saying, like, hey, dude, do you realize, I don't know if God actually says, hey, dude, but in my head,
Yeah.
that's what I heard.
Yeah.
Do you, I know it's a different path to being a pastor, but do you feel like that different path might enable you to reach some people or connect with some people that guy who knew his whole life he wanted to be a pastor and went straight to pastor school, seminary, whatever, and all that? Do you feel like you might be able to reach somebody that guy couldn't?
Right.
I'm like, I think so. That's what they say. Yeah. It's like, all right, well, when you think about like your gifts and your wiring and all that and how you're wired, do you feel like that aligns with what they're talking about for the role? And I'm like, I think so. That's what they're saying. Yeah. And God's like, all right, well, let's talk about your passion. When you think about this job, does your heart sing? Like, do you want to do it? Does your heart sing when you think about taking this role? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, my heart sings when I think about this role. And then God said, well, do you trust me? Do you trust I'm not going to let your kids starve? Do you trust that if your life experiences, your wiring, and your passions are all leading you down this, do you trust me? Yes, God, I trust you. I took the job. And that was over 11 years ago. And God has provided in ways that were not on that spreadsheet.
Right. That's nice.
Yeah.
So what did your wife think the minute you had decided, but what did your wife think?
Again, like I said, she said she'll follow me. She just needs to know I have a plan.
Right.
So she was nervous. She was scared. I was nervous and scared.
Right.
The company I was with restaurants, I'd been with for 17 years. That was my adult life's work. I was 39 years old. But she supported me. She backed me, and it was great.
Nice. Very nice. So you are the executive, I got to get this right, executive pastor of Multisite Ministries.
Can you reword that? Like, that should be your homework assignment. Is come up with a less pretentious
there is no
sounding
way.
title. Can you just scribble that right? Helpful pastor guy. That's what I want.
Okay, but tell me what it is then.
Helpful pastor
What
guy.
does that role look like day to day?
Yeah, so day to day. So basically, I provide leadership for our engagement team. And when we talk about engagement, it's helping people take steps of engagement. And that's really what our campus pastors are mainly responsible for. So I lead our campus pastors and our care team pastor. And it's basically just a great group, a great team of pastors that eat, sleep, and breathe how to help people take steps that are going to help them grow closer to God and grow closer to healthy relationships. So,
And multi-site means what?
we have one church with multiple locations.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Got it.
right now we have 3 English-speaking campuses. We've got a 4th one coming, and a Spanish-speaking campus and a Mandarin-speaking campus.
Mandarin.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that's one of the toughest languages to learn ever.
I haven't even figured out English very well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I understand. All right. So your role allows for sabbaticals. You had said something about sabbaticals. Tell me about that a little bit.
Yeah. So every 7 years you get a sabbatical, which is, a significant amount of time off. And it was weird. It was really weird. I've only done one so far. And I remember just like, I've run hard for a long time, running restaurants and then jumping into the church world, and to wake up and like not have anything to do, not have professional things to do. I planned some fun stuff and some other things, but it was definitely weird. But I did spend some time trying to read a book, spend some time with God. And the big question I had rolling into it was this. Professionally, I can be a driver. I can push. It's just how I'm wired, I think. Restaurants, I was that way. Just a very, almost some people would say type A. And it's funny because like in my personal life, I'm like a Gen X slacker. Like leave the towel anywhere, I don't care, we're fine. Right. But in work, I've always been pretty driven, and I'll push others as well in that. And what I've found for the most part is I never really pushed anybody that didn't appreciate it in the long run. And it's been great. But my question with God was like, why am I pushing? And why am I this need to drive like I have? And because I feel like my more natural wiring is to be more of that Gen X slacker, put the towel anywhere kind of person.
Right.
And in particular in ministry stuff, you can get really addicted to the impact and the good stuff, because you're doing nothing but good stuff all the time.
Right.
Some of it's really hard, but you're doing good stuff all the time. And through this weeks-long process of spending time with God, and I was reading a book called Gentle and Lowly. That's just a great book if you want to spend some time thinking about the heart of God. But basically, the conversation I had with God through that, and again, not God's audible voice, but God working on getting to the root of why I felt like I needed to run so fast. And the root cause of it was, again, part of my story of 10 years that I wasn't doing any good for anybody. That dark decade, if you will, when I started to tune God out and lived a pretty selfish life, a destructive life, really. And part of what was driving me, there can be a positive side of recognizing that you wasted a lot of years, and now you have opportunities to go do good stuff because you don't take that for granted and all that. But there could be a dark side to that too. And the dark side for me, that God revealed to me through all that, was this idea that I wasted a decade, so I need to run twice as fast for a decade, to make up for it.
Right.
And I remember, again, not God's audible voice, but just in my time with him saying to me, hey, Todd, I wired you to push. That's great. Go push. But when you do it because you love me, do it because you love people. And that's it. You don't have to make up for any negative score in some scorebook.
Right.
I love you right now for who you are.
Right.
And it's just really powerful for me.
Nice. How hard is it for you to focus then? I mean, you know what I'm talking about? It seems like you're a driven person.
At work.
At work. At home, towels everywhere.
Total mess. Yeah.
But how hard is it for you to focus when you want to have just some quiet time? Do you know what I mean? Like you're saying, I got to spend some time with God right here. But I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do that. And in sabbatical, I would imagine, how long did it take you to actually go, okay, I really just need to relax?
Yeah.
How does that work for you?
Well, the sabbatical, it was probably, I remember about a week into it, I remember at one point just realizing how tired I was.
Okay.
Like you don't realize, when you're running, you don't realize you're tired until you sit down.
Right.
And then expand that to decades of whatever, and then slow down. And I remember at one point I'm trying to read this book, and I'm trying to, I want to hear from God in this season, And I remember at this point I'm trying to read, but I'm getting real tired, dude. I'm getting real sleepy. It's probably 3:00 in the afternoon. The house is empty. I'm trying to read, and I'm like kind of dozing, and again, not God's audible voice, but I felt like God's saying, "Hey, dude, do you want to take a nap right now?" I was like, yes, God, I really do.
Yeah.
I was like, take a nap. Oh, just rest.
Yeah.
Like when you're a parent of a young kid, isn't it awesome when they take naps?
Oh,
right.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Yes.
And I think God loves us like that too. He wants to see us recharge. He wants to see us slow down and settle down. And, so for me in normal rhythms, and I don't do it perfect, I don't do it well. There's seasons when I do it well and seasons when I don't. But for me, it's about finding a way to have unhurried time with God.
Right.
It's like, what does that look like to carve out unhurried time with God? And so,
So you said something about, leads to the next question. You said something about your kids, taking naps, which is hallelujah when that happens. Okay, but you have 2 boys, and you say they're way smarter than you.
They are way smarter.
Oh, again, the bar. Not sure how high it was.
Not a very high bar.
Okay, just asking
but,
there.
yeah.
But what makes you proud of them?
Oh gosh, there's so many things.
And what's the age difference, by the way, too?
There's a big gap, 7 years apart. We're not very smart.
Right.
We had a deal. We were just going to have one kid.
Yeah.
Because one kid is easy.
Yeah.
We were great parents, one kid. If we would have just had one kid, we would do speaking tours. I would have written books about parenting. I would have been telling everybody else how to parent.
How to do it.
Then you add a second one, it's so much harder. It's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. Forget the book.
Yeah. But, I mean, Noah is, I put
Noah's
on there,
the oldest one?
Noah's my oldest.
Okay.
I put on there, he's incredibly much smarter than I am, but, and that's great. But when I think about what I'm proud of with Noah, it's really his heart. It's what drives him. Noah's always had this high sense of justice, this high sense of standing up for the little guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a high sense of integrity. He will be authentic and honest even when it's not in his best interest. But always had a high sense of justice and stand up for the little guy, and any way that could. There's been some cool ways that's taken shape, and he decided the best way he could do that is through the legal system. And so, he's worked hard his whole life to be able to put himself in a position to be a lawyer and stand up for the little guy, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah. So he's in law school right now.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty cool.
And
then Jack.
Jack
is like, the poor guy is wired a lot like me. So he's got a lot of things to overcome, but he's smarter, taller, and better looking. So he's got that going for him. He's got a good shot at it.
Yeah.
Jack has a natural leadership charisma about him.
Okay.
That he has always had. I remember just elementary school, walking kids home after school and seeing the way other kids just kind of gravitate towards him.
Yeah.
Jack makes things fun. Jack will challenge you. Jack will challenge others. Jack does not accept what he's told just because he's told it.
Right.
He's going to ask the hard questions. He's going to challenge it. And he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Nice. What kind of dad do you strive to be?
Upright.
That does help.
Yeah.
Except at 3 o'clock when you want to take a nap, but otherwise, yeah.
Oh man, what kind of dad do I strive to be? I think as a dad, what I try and do is, again, I don't always do a great job of it, but you try and help identify what your kids are gifted in and help them live into who God's built them to be. And I can't take credit for their wins. I can't.
Right.
Like, Noah's done incredible things. Jack's done incredible things. They will do incredible things.
Right.
And I don't get any credit for any of that. My job is to just help them live into what God's wired them to be. And I also don't get any blame when they do something dumb.
No.
Too. Just to be clear.
Yeah.
Like that's on them. But I think there's that whole push thing is a challenging, interesting conversation when it comes to your kids.
Right.
And how hard to push and when to push and all of that.
When to pull back, when to...
Yeah. And, Noah, he's pretty driven. I never did that. And with Jack, we just had to have a conversation about it because he's way into athletics and sports and basketball and has a chance to be really good for a really long time.
Nice.
It's like, okay, do you want me to be that dad who is getting you up at 5 o'clock in the morning and driving and yelling at you and pushing? Because I don't know if that's best for our relationship.
Right.
And our relationship means more to me than your basketball career.
Nice.
And so we've talked through it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you mentioned sports and athletics and that kind of stuff, and you now are into pickleball?
I like pickleball.
Okay.
My wife is
Hello.
addicted to pickleball. That's where she is right now at this moment. We started playing pickleball. I was playing basketball a few years ago and tore up my ankle bad. I was in a boot. And my wife was like, okay, you're an old man now. You're done playing basketball. You need to find an old man sport. And so she got us some cheap pickleball paddles, and lessons at the local rec center or whatever. And we started playing and we loved it. We loved it. But she absolutely loves it. And I love her. And I love playing with her. She's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So we were talking about our highlight from this last year, and our highlight was we won a tournament together.
Look at you.
We played together, and it was so much fun. And you'll appreciate this when we won, like the final point. And we worked hard for a long time to get to this. We trained, all that stuff. And when we won, she jumped on me like a catcher would jump on the pitcher
World Series.
at the end of the World Series. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was absolutely awesome.
That's awesome.
So, yes.
That is pretty cool.
But my pickleball motto is that Todd just follows the pretty girl around. Is really what it is. So if she's injured and hurt, I probably won't play.
No.
But when she's there, I'm all for it.
You've got it down to a science then.
Well, I'll show up. I don't have it down to a science. But
Is she competitive?
she's very, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're both very competitive. Yeah.
Okay. Who's more competitive of the two of you?
We argue about that all the time.
Yeah.
No.
Nice.
It's funny on who's more competitive. I don't know. I don't know. It's a good question. Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
Don't want to ask other people because they might give you a different answer.
It'd be
than
fun
you.
to ask her. Yeah.
It would be cool.
Yeah.
So you look at your journey. It's got restaurants, music, marriage, and ministry. What connects all those chapters together? The binder in the book, I would say.
Gosh, I don't know, man. A flawed, shy kid that grew up trying to figure out how to make a difference in this world, I guess. I don't know how to.
Is you still the shy kid now?
I'm the shy kid, but I'm not afraid.
Is the shy kid sometimes go, can't believe we're here?
Oh yeah, all the time. All the time. I can't believe It's not just the shy part. It's I made a lot of dumb choices, man. A lot of dumb choices, and the fact that I'm sitting here with you, the fact that I have the family I have, the relationships I have, it's just it's an example of God showing grace on someone who I was really close to being a train wreck.
Yeah.
I was really close to being a train wreck.
What surprised you most then about your story?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know. It surprised me that
you did have an answer for it.
Yeah, I didn't have an answer for it. I'll say this. I always thought that I always had a premonition of how I would die. Even when I was little.
Okay.
And I just had this thought in my head that I would die an old man in a hospital bed with tons of family around him.
Okay.
And that vision, and I don't know if you're watching this, and hopefully a really long time from now, you'll know how it happened.
Right.
But with knowing the end in mind, I guess the story isn't that surprising. I think I'm on pace for that.
Nice. That's cool. All right. So for other people, if someone feels stuck between who they were and who they're becoming, what would you tell them? Sounds like the same thing you tell yourself.
Oh, yeah. I would tell them to find a good friend to talk about it, whether that's over a beer or a cup of coffee on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
I'd tell them to spend some time talking to God about it. Dive into a couple books. There's some good books out there. But, I think one of the most important things you can do in life is figure out what God's wired you to do, right? And why. And I'm still coloring in the lines on what that looks like,
right?
And we all are,
right?
And that's kind of the beauty of it. But yeah, I would just say to find a good friend that you can be authentic with and vulnerable, and share your stories and see where that leads.
Right. That's nice. That's cool. All right. So this show is called My Dash Story, of course. And when it's all said and done, what do you hope your dash says about you, how you lived, how you loved, and how you led?
I should have thought about that at the beginning or planned that out better, huh?
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, I'm on the spot here.
Next time I'll send them earlier. Yeah.
My dash says, Todd was a guy who loved people and loved Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And
he lived that too?
the best he could.
Right.
at times.
Yeah. I think a little tough on yourself and you led that life that way.
Yeah.
And so now we're talking.
Well, I ended the dash that way. I don't know. There's some scars on that dash.
Eraser
Yeah.
marks there once in a while. That kind of thing. All right. So we're talking to your grandchildren that you don't have yet.
Yeah.
And you're telling them, what would you tell them that you could have told yourself when you were 13, 12 years old?
13-year-old grandson or daughter. Hang in there, kid. You're diving into one of the weirdest, craziest seasons of life. You're talking middle school age. It gets better. You might be having a great time right now. It's only going to get better. I would encourage you to value the relationships in your life more than anything. The relationships with your family, your relationship with God. Your friends will come and go. Choose good ones. Be a good influence around them. And just do the best you can with what God gives you. And everything will work out.
Good advice, brother. Good advice. I really appreciate you being here, man. If you get a chance to like and subscribe and comment, I love reading the comments. If you get a chance to comment, and we'll see.
Before you wrap up.
Yes, sir. What you got?
Before you wrap up.
I'm not rapping. Go for it.
When are we talking about your dash?
Huh?
When are we doing your dash story? That's what I want to know.
One day we'll get out there.
I think
I just finished my book, actually. Believe it or not.
That's great.
And it's about, it's called It's the Journey, and it'll be done here
I like
soon.
it.
But yeah,
no, I want you in this chair.
One day it might happen. Yeah.
No, let's
we'll
get
trade,
it on the books.
We'll trade a spot. Yeah,
we're going to trade a spot. Would you let me interview you?
Well, I'll let you do that.
Write it down right now. It's happening. It's under contract, verbal contract.
Verbal contract.
Bob is going to let me interview him for his dash story.
One day
in
out
the
there.
very near future.
In the very near future. Yes,
okay,
got it.
Now you can wrap it up. Now I got that out of you.
Thanks so much for that. Now I'm committed to it. Anyway, speaking of commitment, like, subscribe, comment as much as you can. And we love seeing you and hearing from you out there. And we'll see you next time on My Dash Story.